An interesting power system can make or break an anime. In parts 1 and 2 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, battles were largely physical, relying on Hamon, a breathing-based martial art that required physical training, strength, and stamina. Naturally, this favored male characters built like Will Tennyson, C-Bum, and a brick shithouse had a baby. Moving into part 3, JoJo's author Hirohiko Araki introduced stands, spiritual manifestations of a character's fighting spirit or personality. This decision to introduce stands is what made JoJo's Bizarre Adventure the genre-defying masterpiece we know and love today.
Nice! Very nice, Shiza-chan!
Every stand is unique. Every single one. Well, maybe not you two, for reasons. Stands can look like and do anything. They can be intimidating, they can be cool, they can be weird, or they can be a burger. Yes, a burger.
Gather up, Stardust Gang. We have to trek across the world and fight the infamous Burger O King of...
In various interviews, Hirohiko Araki talks about how stands allowed him to create more diverse, unique characters. Since the power isn't based on muscles or body size, even a child or a woman can be a powerful fighter. With this power system, combat didn't need to rely on physicality anymore. It became about strategy, creativity, personality. That made it easier to write compelling and more unorthodox protagonists, villains, and supporting characters. This shift turned JoJo from a standard shonen battle manga into a vibe-based phenomenon, with a broadcast of quirky, lovable, and iconic characters, weird-ass powers, and cerebral fights, like the one where a girl whose power is stickers that duplicate stuff faces off against a chronically suicidal man who inflicts his injuries on his opponents. The JoJo formula paved the way for all the best shonen battle manga that came after, and that includes Jujutsu Kaisen. JoJo proved you don't need bigger explosions, you need better rules. Rules that force your characters to think, adapt, and overcome on the fly. Rules that make you strong because of your limits, not in spite of them. Jujutsu Kaisen runs with that idea like Usain Bolt with a domain expansion. In JJK, the power system relies on cursed techniques, abilities that Jujutsu sorcerers use to manipulate cursed energy, which is the manifestation of negative emotions and the collective beliefs of humanity. There are inherited techniques exclusive to certain bloodlines like Gojo's Limitless, which lets him manipulate space itself. There are innate techniques, which are personal abilities. There are learned techniques which you can train yourself to pull off, like Simple Domain and arguably Black Flash. And most interestingly, there are binding vows and heavenly restrictions. With binding vows, you essentially make a deal, restricting yourself in one area to gain a massive advantage in another. For example, announcing your ability to your enemy in JJK is considered a binding vow. Removing the element of surprise makes the attack stronger. Heavenly restrictions, on the other hand, are permanent drawbacks that grant monstrous boosts elsewhere. For example, our boy Toji, who has 0 cursed energy, but in return gained a freakishly cut bod and abs you could grate cheese on. All of this makes power in JJK malleable, and it makes fights terrifyingly unfair. Every fight is a gamble, sometimes literally. The battles in JJK are like negotiations. You lose something to gain something far scarier, and it could shift the tide of battle in ways the viewer never expects. But even with a heavenly restriction, which is a cosmic trade-off made on your behalf, characters still have autonomy. Yuji will get stronger to protect others no matter what. Gojo will change the Jujutsu world no matter what. Sukuna will kill no matter what. But what if your power wasn't decided by fate, luck, or even your own skill? What if your power was decided by trust, belief, and what people think you should be instead of who you really are? This is the power system in To Be Hero X. In this world, power doesn't come from talent or training. It comes from how people perceive you. You become what others expect you to be, and just like heavenly restrictions, what you gain can be incredible, but what you lose can be even more terrifying. This is Nice. He's the golden boy superhero. Always clean, always prim and proper. He's idolized, beloved, untouchable. People think he's perfect. So now, he has to be. Even the way he moves, the way he looks, the way he fights. It's too polished, too sanitized, too clinical. His combat style is inspired by ballet, graceful movement, and a focus on evasion and counterattacks. He's a manifestation of the perfect hero as imagined by the people. In modern media, we've seen heroism deconstructed, broken, and torn apart enough times to realize it's not as simple as beating up the bad guys. Where other heroes bring struggle, suffering, and understanding to their conflicts, Nice brings elegance. The will of the people, their belief in him being absolutely perfect, makes him, forces him, to be this way. Due to the fans' wish for him to be flawless at all times, Nice develops extreme OCD. His clothes can't wrinkle, his words can't slip, his image can't crack. He can't just be normal. This is all taken to the extreme when Nice's love interest is kidnapped by someone hell-bent on exposing the real Nice to the world. The fans don't want him to walk into a trap, and their belief, ironically, traps him. Nice is physically unable to leave his room. He is physically unable to go where he is needed. The power system begins to unravel its depths beyond what we first see, showing both us and Nice that his power doesn't protect the world. It doesn't protect his loved ones. It protects the version of him the world adores, not the real human underneath. The trust power system in To Be Hero X can easily become a handicap rather than an advantage. And nowhere is this more apparent than in the story of Firm Man. Now I know what you're thinking. Firm Man? Is he like a man that runs a legal firm? Or a man with firm breasts, perhaps? To my surprise, as much as yours, it's neither. Firm Man is less of a man and more of a legend. He's the 10th ranked hero, immovable, invulnerable, a symbol of righteousness, selflessness, and unwavering strength. As a firefighter, long before he got any powers, Firm Man exhibited the determination and righteousness of a top-tier hero. When a fire breaks out one day, he rushes in and finds a little girl trapped inside. Before he can escort her out, the foundation shifts and a pillar drops on their heads. If it were anyone else, the results would have been tragic. But Firm Man, wanting to save the girl with all his heart, holds the pillar up. And he keeps holding it, regardless of how much it burns, regardless of how much it hurts, regardless of the crushing weight, he holds it up. His fellow firefighters finally manage to clear a path, and Firm Man is filmed, standing tall, holding up an entire collapsing building to save a single child. Public is moved. They begin to believe in what they saw. They wish for Firm Man to remain ever standing. And so Firm Man becomes immovable. So much so that he's asked to act as a fulcrum for a lever moving several hundred tons. He becomes invulnerable, appearing almost entirely resistant to damage. As a consequence of the public's desire for him to be ever standing, Firm Man locks the fuck in, literally. He is physically incapable of bending his legs. He can't sit, he can't lie down, he can't even bend his waist more than a few degrees forward. Imagine for a second not being able to lie down at all for the rest of your life, not being able to sit down for a meal, not being able to take a shit in the now renovated brick house from the intro of this video. Now imagine the child you saved, watching you struggle to bend down when she presents you with the scarf at your honoring ceremony. Imagine that child growing up with the guilt of thinking they forced this life on you. A life of silent suffering, crushed by the endless weight of expectations. What do you think that child will become? A great battle system isn't just about cool powers, it's about what those powers say about the people who use them. JoJo's power system reflects the character's soul, their identity, desires, and ego, turned into absurd creative tools. Jujutsu Kaisen's power system reflects their resolve, how they confront pain, impose meaning on it, and choose to fight despite it. To Be Hero X's power system takes that reflection outward, showing us that power isn't always a gift. Sometimes it's a prison, forged from what others expect you to be. When done right, a battle system becomes more than mechanics and rules. It becomes the lens through which we watch characters suffer, grow, or even fall apart. A good power system makes you cheer for the characters. A great one makes you feel for them. Power system aside, you've probably already heard of To Be Hero X because of its switching animation style gimmick, and it's used fantastically. It's slick, creative, and a joy to watch. But there's a lot more going on here. To Be Hero X isn't just flashy, it demonstrates an incredible level of thought in every aspect of its script and execution. The characters are written with depth, nuance, and care. I found myself genuinely invested in their arcs, their pain, their growth, their ups, and their downs. But Jude, what about the fights? You yell from an indiscernible distance? First of all, no need to yell. Rude. Second of all, early standouts like Nice and Moon fighting together bring that JJK level hype with JoJo tier creativity and flair. So if all you care about is action, understandable, and hats off to you, my sir, you'll be happy to know this show delivers. But if you're looking for something with more substance, more intention, more emotional weight beneath the chaos, then To Be Hero X is to be your next anime.